Coming up on Network Africa, thousands of South Africans take to the streets across the country, protesting and demanding the immediate resignation of President Jacob Zuma. Former Ivory Coast President Laurent Gbagbo to remain in custody during the course of his war crimes trial. And the United Nations launches new efforts to end years of war and political upheaval in Libya. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Millicent Walker. We begin in South Africa, where thousands have taken to major streets across the country against corruption under President Jacob Zuma's rule. The protest, led by the Congress of South African Trade Union, COSATU, is alleged to be backed by a rival of the incumbent president. Many of the protesters wore red T-shirts chanting old liberation songs. Though the protest is officially against graft broadly, much of the frustration and anger is aimed at Zuma, as corruption is said to have become endemic under his administration. Some senior members of the ANC have called for Zuma to step down in recent months following a well of allegations that his friends, the Gupta family, willed undue influence over the award of state contracts worth hundreds of millions of dollars and raiding of taxpayers' funds by outside interests known locally as state capture. However, the Guptas and President Zuma have denied any wrongdoing, saying that they're only victims of a politically motivated witch hunt.
Now we are sick and tired of corruption that is taking place in our government. Yeah, it has come to an end. That's my opinion. Yeah.
Well, our Johannesburg Bureau Chief Betty Dibia joins us right now via Skype. Betty, welcome. We understand thousands have taken to the streets in South Africa protesting corruption, demanding the immediate resignation of President Jacob Zuma. Can you tell us what the situation is?
All right. First, I wouldn't quite put it that way. Kandikot or Zuma must go, because what we saw today, at this point, it's done and dusted. The marches have been concluded, and the president of COSATU, Stomo Dlamini, has said it was a success, contrary to what he says. Some of the enemies of COSATU have said that it won't be successful. But basically what happened today, 17 affiliate unions of the Confederation, that's COSATU, marched in about 13 areas, 13 cities, to protest against what they call corruption, state capture, which is the undue strong influence that private players have on state affairs. They talked about unemployment, job losses in the mining sector, and so many other things. In Johannesburg, they marched to the Chamber of Mines, they marched to the banks as well, where they talked about issues like repossessing of houses from workers. They marched to the mayor of Johannesburg's office, as well as the office of the Premier of Gauteng. The DA runs Johannesburg. Gauteng is run by the ANC. So I wouldn't say it was clear-cut anger at the ANC, which the Secretary General of South African Communist Party, that's Blade Nzimande, saying this is not a march against the ANC, it's against corruption, it's against state capture, and they expect some things like the recommendations of the public protector to be implemented by the president as well.
Reports saying that the trade union COSATU, organizers of the strike, they were being joined by another ally of the governing African National Congress, the ANC, which propelled President Zuma to power 10 years ago. Why do you think this drift?
I wouldn't say it's a drift, apart from the red T-shirts that they share. That's COSATU and the South African Communist Party and the ANC. Those three form what they call the tripartite alliance. Now you have some of the members of these groupings in government, especially the SACP, like the Blade Nzimande that I talked about, the Minister for Higher Education. He belongs to the SACP. So because of the recent happenings, the scandals, the allegations of corruption, many of them have been forced to actually take a stand regarding what those allegations, calling for the president to leave office. We saw some of the posters today, the placards saying Zuma must go, and people chanting as well. But listening to them, what is being said by these leaders, it's not exactly the same thing. They were quite cautious in their wording. We heard the president of COSATU at the beginning of the march saying, when he was asked about the president, and he said, it is a collective. If the president is part of it, yes, he must answer for all the things that people have been accusing them of. They must take responsibility for all the corruption, for the state capture, and they must do right by the people beyond what is being done.
Finally, Betty, what do you make of the future of the ANC in South Africa?
The ANC is still a big player. The ANC is, there are cracks in the ANC. That is, it's not today's news. And then don't forget, this is election year for the ANC. The elective conference is in December, and now people are, falling into places who they want to support. Even at there was an element of politics today at this march where the president of COSATU was saying they will support, or not just the president, they will be supporting the current deputy president of the country at that elective conference. We have divisions regarding who should really be supported. You have the former AU chairperson, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, the Treasurer General of the ANC. So it's election year, it's not unexpected. It is expected for all these divisions. But beyond that, the scandals have actually cracked the ANC beyond the election year. Election year is always like this, mudslinging and scandals and controversies. So the divisions are not today, it's not today's news.
Thank you so much for your thoughts, Betty Tibia, our Johannesburg Bureau Chief, joining us there from South Africa.